For me, I've already had so much dick in my life. It's like,
would you say too much dick in your life?
Well, I wouldn't say too much dick, but I've had enough dick in my life where I'm like, I know what to expect, you know? And I have a dick that's available to me all the time, you know?
Sure.
So it's like, for me, I'm just like, if I'm going to outsource something, I wouldn't want something different. So okay. I would want to experiment more with women at this point in my life. I mean, things change, but at this point, that's where I'm at.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
There are no more excuses for being bad in bed. None. I don't want to hear about it. Beducated.com is like Sex University with over 100 video courses to level up your sex skills, from fingering to anal to sex toys to how to set up a killer online dating profile. No more excuses. Do your homework, people. Get 50% off access to Beducated's entire course catalog when you click the link in the show notes or use promo code MANWHORE at Beducated.com. My One Condoms has options for 10 lengths and 9 widths, providing 52 sizes to ensure that your dick, or the dicks in your life, are wearing the better size for better sex. Go to myOneCondoms.com/manwhore or use promo code manwhore for 20% off your order. Again, that's myOneCondoms.com/manwhore.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to all the broke boys, to the boss babes, and all the entrepreneurial MBs out there. This is Billy Presida, and you're listening to the Man Whore Podcast. And you also might hear in the background a little bit of the typing from Sex Story Zone Y.O. Lee, who was kind enough to provide me with some accommodations for my trip out here to L.A. L.A., what's up? I'm in you, and already I'm getting out of you. Your weed is way too strong. I walked into the place. I was like, what's the tamest thing you have? And he gave me like a pre-roll that had 25% THC. That's fucking insane. I remember when I was in Jamaica, I mean, not to give myself a trigger, but when I was in Jamaica, the resort had like a weed guy, like unofficially. He doesn't work for the resort, but the resort allows him to work on it. And I think like every resort in Jamaica just like has a weed guy for the visitors to talk to. And he was trying to pitch me on how not potent the weed in Jamaica is. I slept like 12 hours last night. That's too many. Hey, welcome to the show when we're not talking about the effects of potent California marijuana. This is a podcast that hosts sex positive conversations every Wednesday. And this week I've got on Stefanie, host of the hit show Broke Girl Therapy. And I'll be sending y'all her way in just a moment. But I will say, folks, Naked Comedy Show, it's back. Our 1-year anniversary show is September 16th. We've got 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock lineups at the infamous Hacienda in Bushwick. Ticket link at the top of the schnotes. I hope to see you there. Friendly reminder, you can always send your comments about the show, your advice questions, your titty pictures, your criticisms about some sort of vague thing I said 7 years ago to manwhorepod@gmail.com. Always love to hear from you. Just as I always love to see you at Hot Movie Night. This is our best hot movie night in a while. I think this might be one of our best ones yet. We had like, I don't know, I think like 13 whoreheads in there commenting and watching on Kay Parker's Taboo. And it's also probably one of the best movies we've watched in quite some time. I know, sometimes we pick a movie and some listicle said, this is a golden era classic. And then we watch it and we're like, this is dog shit. But then we have fun like commenting on the dog shit. Like there was a hot movie night where like in the movie, the main character is having bad sex with a lot of bad men. And we think it's a plot device in the beginning. Like, oh, we have to show her having bad sex now so we can then see how she eventually, her character arc is she gets to have good sex. But really, she just has a lot of bad sex. And then like the closest thing to good sex she has is with a guy, like a gay character who I guess she's like gotten him to get some curiosity, right? But like even that's not that great sex, but it was like mildly better. So really to me, I'm like, this is too realistic to the female experience. Lots of bad sex with bad dudes. And sometimes you bang your hot queer buddy on a night with a lot of wine. And even then it's still not, you know, I don't know. But Taboo, hot movie night, great time. Loved seeing everybody. Hope to see y'all there next month. And here's some people I hope to see at next month's hot movie night. It is the Fan Whore Appreciation Moment. I want to give a shout out to some of the members of my Fan Whore community on Patreon. I want to thank y'all for supporting independent podcasting. I want to give a big thank you to Katie Hamill. Any relation to Mark? Huh? Can you introduce us? All right, hey, but thank you for supporting the pod. Shout out to Dustin Betterly. Hope you're enjoying the Peep Show. And a shout out to the one and only Ayo. That's not me going Ayo. I mean, that's just like, that's the name of this person on Patreon, Ayo. So Ayo, thank you. Throwing another letter at the end there. And you too can support the Man Whore Podcast for as little as $2 a month. Sign up for an annual membership. Get a discount. Save some money. Become a member today. Enjoy the rewards at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast or download the Patreon app and find me on there. Stefanie Maegan, she hosts the hit show Broke Girl Therapy. Talk about mental health. They talk about sex. They talk about dating. They talk about living in this wild, crazy world. I opened for Stefanie and Cammy and Nikki from the Double Team podcast. I opened for them at a Caveat over the weekend. Super fun time. Had to compete in a hand job competition. I am told I did surprisingly well. I just wanted to compete. If you put me up on a stage, I'm going to try to do my best, no matter what it is. And if it's jerking a big pink penis that's just like a little girthier than my own and therefore almost a little insulting, it's fine. I'm a go in and play like a champ. But the gals had a great show. We had a fun time, and I enjoyed getting to know Stefanie. Hope you will too. Let's go get a little taste of some broke girl therapy. I've been talking to y'all about Beducated.com for years. Since pre-panty, I've been talking to y'all about Beducated. Why? Beducated.com offers video courses with explicit nudity to let you know how to explicitly get the job done. Their video courses range from squirting to prostate massages to blowjobs to strap-on play, breast massage. I mean, they got everything on this site. There's even a 40-minute course on tips for successful group sex. And Beducated is offering Fan Whore Nation an exclusive discount, okay? 50% off an annual membership when you click the link at the top of the schnotes. Yes, you can use promo code MANWHORE at checkout. But we would all love it if you click the link. That's where the world and the internet is these days. So just for Billy, if you would, just click the link at the top of the schnotes to access your special offer. You will not be disappointed. So much so, Beducated offers a 14-day money-back guarantee. So I don't really know what you're waiting for. You got a money-back guarantee. You got 50% off. You've got all the sexual and dating knowledge you could need out there. Go up your sex skills. Go gain some confidence. Go get Beducated. Beducated. It's like educated, but with a B, because, it's bed stuff. Are you sure you're wearing the right size condom? I once also thought that. When I was 20 years old, I was on a date with a 46-year-old woman, humble brag, and we were in bed, and I say, like, hey, do you have a condom? And she hands me a Magnum condom. And I looked at her in terror and said, are you sure? Because you see, I used to watch a TV show called Degrassi Next Generation. And in Degrassi, there's a character named JT. He was kind of like the cool, fun character. He had all the best punchlines. Well, in season 4, JT has sex with Liberty and thinks it would be hilarious if he used one of those like extra big condoms. Oh yeah, really fucking funny, JT, because during sex, the condom slipped off and Liberty got pregnant. The next season, JT goes to a house party, gets stabbed, and dies. So when I was 17, I really internalized, Billy, just use the normal condom. It's okay. Just don't get too big. Don't get big for your britches. But that was the wrong answer because it was the wrong size condom. Fast forward, this 46-year-old woman, she goes, by my estimation, a normal one would strangle you. And she was right. The condoms never fit well. It never felt like they fit well, but I just thought that that's how condoms are. No, there's a better way. And that's why my sponsor this week, My One Condoms, is perfect for you. They offer 52 different condom sizes in 10 lengths and 9 widths. So there's no excuse to not find a better condom for better sex today. My One Custom Fit offers condom sizes snugger and larger than any other brand. And it's real easy to find out your size. Just log on to the website, myOneCondoms.com/manwhore. Enter your measurements, your length, your girth. They'll tell you what you are. Like me, I'm a 55G kind of guy. Then get 20% off your order when you're at myOneCondoms.com/manwhore or when you use promo code manwhore at checkout. A better fit means better sex. myOneCondoms.com/manwhore. Yeah.
Like I had an episode recently where I was saying how I needed like a job, but then I also talked about how like I love doing drugs.
I'm just gonna check your level.
Okay, yeah. And then my boyfriend's like, "Do you think that's a little too much? You're like asking for a job, and you're also saying like how you love to do drugs."
Well, like you've been going since 2015?
16.
Yeah, and I've been going since 2014. So like,
oh shit, you beat me. I met anyone that was like past me.
At this point, when you're hundreds and hundreds of episodes in, I feel like it's no longer a competition.
Yeah.
You know,
your whole hole is out there.
Our holes are out there.
They're out there.
Mine as well.
Yeah.
How much are you charging for yours? I know.
Yes. Well, I mean, do I have a Patreon? Just kidding.
I don't know.
$5 a month. Okay.
I used to post nudes on Patreon
Really?
back before all the like Sesta Fosta community guideline changes and whatnot. I just kind of was like, low key, throw some nudes there, and then they were like, you can't.
Yeah.
And then I stopped that, but then I started my OnlyFans in 2020.
But see, it's like mostly straight women on my Patreon who follow me, so I don't think they want to see my boobs. Maybe.
I mean, you were just like, I don't know, I'm straight, but like I want some titties in my face.
I do.
Yeah. And there's a whole strip club for you to do that.
I mean, I've been there.
Yeah.
I love strip clubs. But like I want it, without it being like I want it because they want to do it to me.
Oh,
You know
look
what I
who's
mean?
now identifying with the incels. Be like, no, but I want her to want to.
I want her to want me, dude.
Why does she want to put her titties in my face for free?
Oh my god, I'm such a man. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm a man whore.
I don't know what you got the hat rocking
Dad
now.
hat,
This
I
is
know. No, it's only because I haven't washed my hair in 2 weeks, so I had to look a little decent.
all right. Well, thanks for chatting with me, Stephanie
Are we
from
going? Is it
Broke Girl
happening?
Therapy. Yeah,
Oh my god.
we on the button has been hit.
Do you like a casual beginning? Because I love a casual beginning. Okay,
I like
cool.
to find a spot to fade in and just be
Right?
like, yeah, this is where we'll start.
Right, exactly. Like you're just walking into the room, so they're just walking into like the conversation.
I have a couple times done episodes where I forgot to intro them at all.
Me too. I've done that, and I'll do it 20 minutes in.
Yeah. Oh, I've gone full episodes where because
Yeah.
we're like at 20, 30 minutes, I go, it's too late. But I always have an intro before every episode, so I'm just like, well, I'm gonna do it then anyway.
That's true.
But sometimes the guest is sitting there like, so is he ever gonna say my name?
is it recording?
Are there plugs on this?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, but we got it in this time in
Yeah.
a reasonable amount of time.
I always love to see like how other podcasters like do their setup. Like this is very like I have so much shit.
Yeah.
And you just have this. Like, this is great.
Yeah, I don't do video. I hate rapid growth. I hate
Oh my god, what? You don't do video? I mean, it's a lot easier.
It's
when
a lot
not video.
easier.
I'll give it to you.
Also, the show started with me interviewing women I'd hooked up with about why we didn't work out.
That's how Broco Therapy started.
Really?
Yes. I literally, one of my first episodes, like, brought my friends with benefits, and I was just like, why don't you, like, love me? Because it was, like, my form of therapy.
too.
What?
Sister.
Hello. Sorry for those who have headphones on. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so if I fucked me, I wouldn't want people to know it was me either.
Aw, well.
So wait, was the first episode with that ex or with that fuck buddy, or like did you have like a bunch of those types in the beginning?
I had a bunch of those types in the beginning because I was single. Now I'm in a relationship, but before the show kind of started off as like me just navigating through like my dating life because I just like didn't have a lot of confidence in myself at that time. Like I was really just like, again, like I thought, for me, I thought like if I had sex with this guy one night and it was great on a first date, like he would like fall in love with me. And that wasn't the case, obviously I learned quickly. So it was me kind of navigating through that and then bringing the guys on and being like, what was it? And just trying to understand. And then, over time, obviously with age and experience, it kind of like people kind of started asking me for advice as I was kind of growing out of that kind of phase, so people start just sending out emails and are just like, why can't they love me? And I'm just like, bitch, love yourself, So,
but did you get any like quality knowledge from those early interviews?
I did. I'd honestly think like, recording the conversations in the moment, you hear one thing, but sometimes when you listen back to it and you edit, you hear it a different way, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't catch that he said that, or like that makes sense. And so it honestly was therapy because, I mean, how many times do we get to have the opportunity to record like a conversation like that with someone we're dating?
Yeah.
I think a lot of times if we, record conversations like when we're fighting with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or, if we're going through a situation with someone and you listen back to it, you'll hear things that like you didn't catch at that moment because you're so used to trying to like, do the whole rebuttal thing and trying to say the next line, so. And
you're caught up in a moment, you interpret it all a certain way.
Exactly.
So what things about yourself did you learn as to why things weren't working out?
Honestly, I think I victimized myself way too much before. It was a lot of like, why couldn't you love me or all this stuff? But it was really like, I wasn't honest with them in a lot of ways. And I think that like sometimes I was kind of the bad guy where I would say things or do things to make them feel like, okay, well then I'm not going to put 100% into this, and it's like, and then I'm like, why can't they put 100% into this? It's like, well, you told them you wouldn't want to be with them if you took this job in San Bernardino, So it's like little things like that. I've realized that I was sabotaging the situation, and that was like, I wasn't always the victim in the situation. Or I could have like handled a conversation better without being like so emotional, stuff like that.
Did you learn anything else about your early or mid-20s dating self?
I think a lot of it was like I wasn't honest with myself about what I wanted sometimes, or I just wasn't good at communicating. I try to play like the cool girl, where you're like, oh yeah, I could have sex without feelings. I could do this. When I like in reality just wasn't at that place, So I think it was a lot of that, honestly. And I would have this build up with guys, and then out of nowhere, I would just lash out at them and be like, why aren't you trying? Why aren't you like in love with me? And they're like, I thought we were just friends with benefits. Like I had no idea you like even felt this way. So. And
then you thought like, let's put this on the internet.
Yeah. And for me, it was like the only way to be vulnerable was to put it like to put on the internet. Yes. But to create a safe space where it was like, I think deep down I am like a performer, and not that I'm like performing in any way, but it was kind of like,
oh, we're doing a live show tomorrow.
We're doing a live show tomorrow. We're performers, yeah. But in a way, like in that moment, it was just like it was my art, it was my craft, is what I felt like I had control of the situation. Maybe, I don't know, but it was a way to express myself because I felt like, oh, I could help other people, with it. So.
What was it like the first time you put an episode out and you're like, I just put my whole out on the internet?
I definitely had a lot of anxiety because of it. Because I was like, oh my God, now people know I have sex. Like even though
oh, they didn't know?
They didn't know.
They didn't know.
They didn't know. I didn't talk about it, you know?
Were you very virginal in your stature?
No, I know. It was like, I was a fucking, like, a make-out slut. Like, everyone knew, you know what I mean? Like, it was, yeah. So, I mean, people knew. I mean, I don't, or maybe they just didn't think about it, but it was like, oh, well, it's like, oh, Steph's, like, actively putting her sex life on the internet. Like, back then in 2016, I mean, I know you were doing it, but, I mean, to be honest, not a lot of people are doing it, like, the way they are now, you know? So... Yeah. It was different.
Sure. Make-out slut. I fucking love making out. I used to go to this make-out party where that's it. That's all you could. You couldn't have basically like genitals weren't allowed to come out.
Okay.
Right? Like it was make-out only. I love that.
Love that.
Right?
Why? I want to go to one now.
No, I want to throw one.
You should.
I've thought about
everybody.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just like the idea of you're making out, and I know at no point in time, especially making out with someone new.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any pressure to escalate because we're not allowed to here. Or it could be like, hey, I want to take you home. But I love the idea of like, man, I could just like enjoy some making out. Sometimes
like less is more, you know, and just making out is what gets me.
Yeah.
Versus like doing all the other stuff. Sometimes I'm just like, I just want to make out. And like before I would go out, like especially in my early 20s, like go out and get drunk and just make out with so many people. And I loved it. I just thought it was like so fun. And I didn't have to go anything further, you know? Because I lived with my mom. I wasn't like going to take anyone home, you know?
I guess you don't have a cool mom like Bobby Precita.
Yeah, I don't have a cool mom at all. She is a Filipino mother.
I bring a chick home and my mom would be like, does she want any marijuana? You know, is there any... Can roll her a joint?
No, that is not my mom. My mom would have beat my ass with the belt. Any Filipino mothers out there, y'all know.
Even if I go to a sex party, my goal is to make out with someone new. Like, I'm not even trying to be like, oh, I want to fuck. It's
right.
I want to make out with a new person. Yeah.
Yeah. What is it about that making out that you like?
I like making out with someone new. There's just like a new spark, chemistry. You get to
it's intimate. It's like an innocence to it that's like, I don't know. For me, it makes me feel like I'm in 8th grade again, and like making out is just fun, you know? Mm-hmm. Like I used to love making out back then.
It revs me up, and it gets me like turned on, and like it's building a thing, and like and then maybe we're gonna do more, or we'll go. But for right now, let's just build. Like there's a whole party. I got time.
I've never been to a sex party.
You hang out with those two chicks and you still never been?
I tell them to take me all the time, but I have this
and
theory.
They won't?
I have this theory that they don't want me to go with them.
You've been working together for how
I
long?
love them so much.
You can love them and be like, I don't think these bitches want me at the party.
I don't think they want me at the party. I tell them all that. Well, to be fair, I'll give them some credit. I live in the Bay Area.
Oh.
So I'm not in LA all the time. I come to LA like every so often to record, but when I'm there, I'm like busy. Okay. So I'll give them that.
Okay.
Otherwise, not once have they ever extended.
How long have y'all been working together? I'm nervous to ask.
I mean, like 2 years.
Okay, that's
it's and I most of the time
we're bordering on a timeline of maybe they want me.
I know maybe they don't, and that's okay. And I've accepted
if you're ever
that.
in New York, you want to go to Hacienda, an invite.
And I get it because I don't want to see them have sex. Like that's the thing. I was like, I don't want to see y'all fuck too.
Really?
No, I mean, it would be hot because they're beautiful women.
There it is.
But they're also like, I feel like they're also like my sisters. And like, I feel so close to them that it's just like, I wouldn't want to see that respectfully, you know? So
do you think you could handle like walking by it?
Walking by is fine because I could go, oh, okay. And then just keep going and I could just disassociate. But
you've got a lot of orgies in the Bay Area. So
where? Do you know of
they're around?
They're around, but I don't see them and I don't know them.
I'm sure. I mean, I used to know of one, and it's kind of like I don't know what's going on now. But I mean, I'm sure I could send like 5 texts and get some answers.
If you ever hear of them, let me know because I'm trying to go to one because I want to see my boyfriend have sex with someone else.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you could accomplish that this weekend in New York.
I know. You need to send me where these sex parties are.
Fuck the sex party part. You could just have him. You could just arrange for him to have sex with someone.
I know he went on Field and he was like looking for like a girl, but so I was like maybe. But and also we have a lot to do. So
I mean, you have a whole ass after party tomorrow night. I'm just saying.
that's true.
There's no reason you can't. If you really want that and he wants to do it, there's no reason y'all can't just. All you're missing is the chick for him to have sex with. Like that's all
we're missing. Yeah. Every time we have sex, we talk about like the third. Like that's what gets us going. Like in bed.
What about it is hot to you?
I said this before, but I think I have like a fuckboy complex. Like I love when
wearing this hat. Yeah,
like my boyfriend now is like I'm wearing this hat.
Just like right, you got a little bit of fuckboy energy going on.
Me?
Yeah,
I'm a fuckboy.
I mean, it's mostly the hat. It's
it's a dad hat. How is this a fuck? And it says Broke Girl Therapy. Is it because it's my brand?
This is just like an overall look right now where I'm like, you could.
I'm wearing a Free People oversized tee and a dad hat. If that's a fuckboy, maybe it's like a Cali. Do I just look very California?
Maybe I don't know.
Okay, but I don't know. It's just like fuckboys. But prior to my boyfriend, because my boyfriend now is like the kindest man.
How long y'all been together?
About like almost 3 years.
Sick. Okay.
Yeah. So he's like, it's the healthiest adult relationship I've ever had. Before him, oh my god, like I love me a man that treated me like shit. Oh.
I mean, your cover photo, your album artwork for your podcast is you in running mascara.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was my vibe for so long, and she's still there. Obviously, I'm in my 30s now, so it's like I don't have time for bullshit.
Okay.
So now I try to incorporate it into like our sex life and into like that in a healthier way. Mm-hmm. But before it was done incorrectly, and I love the guys that treated me like shit. So now I try to turn it into something positive. Mm-hmm. So, and he's down for it.
And so you want to see him bang another woman.
Oh yes,
but you don't want to get involved. Maybe titty in the face.
Maybe titty in the face or something, because we like titties. But I mean, I'm not against being involved, but I'm also like, love the idea of seeing them, even if they're just making out. Like even if he's just making out with her at a club, I would love to see that. I've been wanting this for ever since I started hanging out with the twins, and they've kind of obviously exposed me to a lot of different kinks. I was very innocent compared, I wouldn't say innocent, but in comparison to twins, I was innocent.
What does that mean?
Well, because they're like, they're more experienced in like the kink community and stuff like that, and I just wasn't really exposed to that.
So what were you not innocent about? You were like,
I was just very
I gargle
vanilla.
balls, but I don't get spanked. I don't know, what is it?
Well, I obviously always loved sex. I mean, but it was more vanilla. Again, like I said, I would tie it to feelings.
Okay.
So I was, not fucking correctly, I guess you could say. I was doing the damn thing, but I had different, relationships with that.
But you haven't thought about banging another dude, either with him or in front of him?
I'm down, but I think like I'd rather just see him with a girl.
Are you holding back some enthusiasm?
I honestly like the thought of me fucking another guy doesn't really do it. Like I'm not saying I wouldn't, but it doesn't really like it doesn't make me feel as aroused thinking about it as him being with another woman.
Huh. Interesting. Because that's also an easier pitch usually to like a boyfriend. Be like, it might sometimes it's harder to pitch like, can I fuck another guy? But if you say like, let me throw some pussy at you, I feel like a lot of dudes are amenable to that.
Exactly. but it's not because I want to go fuck another guy. If anything, I would go, like I said, I would rather just go fuck another girl. Like for me, I've already had so much dick in my life. It's like, whatever,
Would you say too much dick in your life?
Well, I wouldn't say too much dick, but I've had enough dick in my life where I'm like, I know what to expect, that I would want, and I have a dick that's available to me all the time,
Sure.
So it's like, for me, I'm just like, if I'm going to outsource something, I wouldn't want something different. So I would want to experiment more with women at this point in my life. I mean, things change, but at this point, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've like put like our whole ass sex lives, especially particularly our 20s, are on the internet. Mm-hmm. Any regrets about that?
No. It made me more worried before, but now I feel very confident in it because I think the world is changing in a lot of ways. I think there's so much more people out there who are open about sex. And it's also just like, I think before I carried a lot of shame with it. Even if I was putting out content, there was this internalized shame of just me being a woman and, you know, loving sex in general. And now I would say that don't carry that shame as much. Okay. I'm more just proud of being like, oh, I'm human, you know, like, I mean, that's how we got here, is because two people decide fuck, you know? So it's just, for me, it's like, yeah, I don't regret anything.
See, in my 20s, I had like this like blind confidence about what I was doing.
Yeah.
Now in my more responsible 30s, I'm like, ooh, you know,
really?
or I also am worried. I don't like fully think this, but I'm worried. I'm concerned. We might be slipping into what could be a hopefully short sex negative era. I'm seeing the trends of the laws that are getting proposed or passed, the way people and places are talking about stuff, the social media censorship that comes on the backs of some of these laws. I'm nervous about speaking freely about sex on the internet, and then how that can. I mean, there are two comedy is a pretty like sex friendly place. Like you talk about sex, whatever, right?
Anything, right?
But to have one's identity or persona involve sex so much. I had these two comics. They have a show. I'm just gonna say they have a daily show on a streaming service.
Yeah.
I'm texting one of them about the subject matter of their show, but I'm not asking. I've never asked to be on their TV show.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Right.
We're texting about the subject matter of the show, and then at some point he says, "Yeah, you know, me and the co-host, we thought about having you on, and then we just were like, nah, we wouldn't be allowed to have Presida on." Again, I felt like I got rejected for a date I didn't even ask you out on. But and I was like, well, you know, I'm not just a big slutbag. He's like, yeah, but could you survive a Google search by an exec? And it was like, what the fuck does it matter? And so I go, whatever. A week later, I was at a comedy show, just a bar show, and this comic, she goes up and she got introduced with that show as her credit. One, she opened with, it's so weird I was on that show because I don't know anything about subject matter that it's about. Mm-hmm. Then talked about cum and jerking off for 10 minutes. And I'm like, I'm too dirty, I'm too filthy, but not because like we speak at all about sex, but to have like an identity about sex. I'm concerned that sex educators, people with sex podcasts, who, you know, if you're not at a Dan Savage level, I'm worried about what's going to happen.
I get that. I do think that does cross my mind because I think that, so for instance, actually on social media, the clips that go viral, the episodes that go the most viral are the most raunchy and sex ones.
Right.
Obviously with censorship and all that stuff, but it's obviously, you know, that's like very sex driven. But I also talk really openly about like mental health and, you know, my issues with that and other people's issues with that. And also dating and relationships and navigating like, you know, like a conversation with your boyfriend or whatever. I do
that stuff too, but it gets drowned. They get distracted they said cock a lot.
Yes, exactly. Because I'm like, yes, I talk openly about sex, but I mean, Brocal Therapy, there's still that mental health aspect of it. There's still the relationship and the dating and just navigating through life in general. But that does easily get drowned by the fact of, oh, but you talk about, like fucking and sucking dick or whatever. So I see what you're saying, but I also think like the upside of it is like with the power of the internet, you know, we do have like podcasting, which I would say it doesn't censor a lot. Like we could say for now, while we still kind of have a free and open internet. I mean, that's part of the thing is they're trying to attack just the concept of a free and open internet with net neutrality. And then you've got stuff like FOSTA SESTA, and they have more bills that are going through like that are attacking Billy, I'm scared now. I was living in my delusions. We should be scared, and that's why we I hate saying this, but vote and vote local election. Yeah. I mean, that's what, right now, a lot of stuff. I just did an article for Mashable. It's in the editing process. It's just about anti-porn laws on the state level. And it's just kind of a roundup of what's going on in state by state. So these are your state legislator, your state assembly person, right? It's not the big sexy election every 2 or 4 years. It's those off year ones. Those are the ones that fucking matter too. Those are the ones that are going to matter for some of this stuff. That's how it's going to get snuck in. So, you know, I say it not just to scare, but to hopefully motivate anyone listening. Oh, 1000%. You're right. Because sometimes I could be like in my delusions of like, I'll be fine, you know, and then to realize that like, okay, but you know.
And you also might, like any one person might, but the idea is like, you know, it will allow people to decide, well, do we decide that one's too raunchy, or is that a type of person we're okay with talking about sex? Who knows?
I mean, yes, there's been a lot of stuff of mine that has gone viral, but it definitely have gone through, even if it does go viral and, you know, whatever, but the comments.
I've heard y'all talk about the comments.
And the Shamu comments that I love. I love Shamu. Shamu's a beautiful creature.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah. So there is even again being a brown woman of color talking about sex, being a bigger woman too. You know, is kind of just like, I'm not allowed to have sex or something. So, but I kind of use it as like, well, I have to be a voice for somebody. So,
do you remember when like those kind of comments started going in and how that felt?
Yeah, it kind of, I mean, it honestly, within the last year, it's gone worse. It really started when Instagram started doing Reels.
Okay.
Initially, my videos started doing really well 2020 on TikTok. TikTok really did a good job of pushing my algorithm to people who like would be a fan of the show and would support the show. But then Instagram Reels, for some reason, like love to push it to like, no offense, but like white men who like don't like me, you know what I mean? So, and that's not all white men, but it's just like it was just a common thing that I was saying. Actually just men in general was a common thing that I was saying, where it was like those were like where the hate was coming from.
And how'd that feel?
It felt like shit, because I was just like, again, living in my delusions of like, I'm a beautiful woman talking about doing my thing and I'm helping people, and then there's someone's like, you're a fat fucking Shamu bitch, you know. It hurts, it does. But it's just, I think right now I'm better at like just brushing it off and just keep going, you know.
But back then it was sullying this I'm a beautiful woman that would mess with that.
Oh yeah, it definitely
make you trip a little bit.
Yeah, I think it fucked up my mental health a little bit. I'll be honest with that. But I look at like even Selena Gomez or like, you know, all these like big celebrities who obviously have like way more attention than me, and like they get the same type of shit, you know. Like think about like fucking Britney Spears, you know, like back in the day when she was just like going out and partying, and you know the magazines were giving her or calling her a bimbo, you know. It's just like I think women in general, I think we kind of, especially when you're open with your sexuality, you just kind of get hate. And I think that was like, okay, this is a part of what I'm doing, and this is something that I have to kind of expect to happen.
What do you think? What do you think compels these men to fucking say anything this mean?
I think they just, sometimes I just think they hate themselves. And a lot of it is just, you know, like they have this idea of what a woman should be, and that's just not realistic to like what we deserve to be, I guess, you know. I think they like want us to just keep quiet and be modest and not be like these sexual beings, you know. And
unless your body is the type that they want,
exactly, unless your body is the type, unless you are this gorgeous creature, you know.
Unless their dick is hard, then it's like you are now a sexual creature until I come.
Exactly. And I think also, you know, like they think of like sexual content, it's like, okay, being a porn star, it's like, do I have to look like a porn star to talk about it? Do I have to, you know what I mean? It's like everyone has sex,
right?
So like, even if they don't look a certain way or a certain size or whatever, it's just, you know, like I'm representing those who like to fuck and maybe look like me.
Yeah.
You know?
And before those comments were coming in force, you know, you said you had this sense of self, was like, yeah, I'm like a beautiful slut, like I'm out here in these streets. And you know, how long have you been that confident? Like where'd that come from?
I think you know, I was insecure before about keeping a man, but I wasn't insecure about getting a man.
Okay.
So those are two completely different things. For me, I was like, oh yeah, because I mean, every time I like somebody, I mean, not to be like egotistical, I was able to like pull them. It was the matter of like keeping them was the issue. So that's what was like, what is wrong with me?
As you wipe the cum off your chin, you're like, why can't I get them to stick around?
Why can't I I get them to stay? I don't know, but I could get them in my mouth. You know? So that I didn't understand. So they're, so for me, I'm like, I'm out here, whatever. Like, you can't, like, I'm beautiful in my own way. I get every guy that I want, for the most part. And then, but I can't get them to follow with me. But,
And then how'd you get this one too?
He actually was a fan of the show.
Oh, you're a fan fucker?
I'm a fan fucker.
Girl, me too.
Yeah! I love to fuck the fans. I'm kidding. Well, like, yeah, he that's so funny. I fuck my fans.
I don't like Target. It's just like I will sometimes receive.
Oh, really? When they come up to you, they're like, "Oh my god!"
I mean, not in person. They come
okay.
up to me. Only at sex parties. At sex parties,
is that where your fans
no one
are?
fucks me for the podcast at a sex party. But they will be like, "Oh, you're the one with the podcast." And I'm like, one day I want someone to be like, "Oh, you're the one who eats pussy really well, right?" Yeah.
No, it's you at the podcast.
So you're the
podcast guy.
Legit, you're the podcast guy, right? I've seen someone say thing. I think I've listened to 3 episodes, and in my head I'm just like, why didn't you listen to more episodes? What?
Me, that
so
literally
weird.
Podcast brain, yeah.
That's so strange.
You're like,
3.
why didn't you commit to listening to all of it?
Honestly,
yeah.
Why are you not on the Patreon? That's what I don't understand. No,
right. Why don't you even follow me on Instagram?
I don't want you to jerk me off anymore. I just want your $2 a month.
Yes. What the fuck? Yeah.
Online or traveling or like Manwhorepod sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Down.
That's awesome.
Not lately as much, but like pre-COVID.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh my god, Billy.
Maybe not that, but just sometimes I'd find myself in situations.
In certain situations.
Sometimes I'm in Chicago. I'm like, I need somewhere to sleep, and there's a listener who's like, if you touch my titties,
well, then
I have a hotel room, and I'll pay for your parking. And
I always
dinner,
say
like,
use your resources. So there you go.
My mouth and my podcast are my resources. That's what I got.
That's what I have to offer.
Notice I did not say my dick is my resource.
No!
I'm not that full of myself. But
I mean, you could say it's fine. A dick is a good resource.
Well, first, was he the first fan you've hooked up with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, he's been a fan. I don't think I've ever fucked any of my other fans because they're mostly girls. And I would like to fuck girls, but
any broke girl therapy fans listening right now, if you have some nice titties and want to put them in Stephanie's face.
But I'm also like so weird because I'm like, I feel like my fans are my friends.
What kind of friend doesn't stick their titties in your face? Like what? I mean.
That's true. None of my friends do that for me.
Sounds like you need new friends.
It sounds like I do. Oh my god!
Besides the twins, keep them around. They're fun.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. I'm like, I get so like close to the people in my life that it feels like family.
Okay.
So the twins to me feel like family, and as beautiful as they are, I would be like. It'd be like them doing it to each other. You know what I mean? Like they get weirded out.
Drinking buddy level friendship.
Yeah, I need a party friend.
Not everyone can be like your like family friend. There's, as someone said, there's like rings or levels, tiers of friendship.
Right.
So I feel like party friend, go out drinking friend can also be like, you shove my titties in your face, friend.
You know what? I got rid of all my party friends in COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't need them at the time.
I didn't need them.
You got to call them back. Got to get the band back together.
Exactly. Get the band back together.
You need that scene where everyone's walking down the railroad tracks and one by one they add on.
Yes.
Like it's the Sandlot or Little Giants or whatever movies got those. Yeah.
We need to get the band back together. Yeah, no, for sure.
Well-dressed group of sluts walking down the train tracks.
Yes. I love
One
that.
One breaks a heel and now
they're like, oh my
god.
But they're like, we're here. We got the band back together. No, yeah. It's, well, you know what? It's because I got into a relationship.
Sure.
And then a few of my other friends got into relationships too. So I feel like a lot of my friends are just in relationships and I don't know where my party friends are anymore. I need to go back to LA. Mm-hmm. I think the Bay Area is too quiet for me.
Are you in Oakland? Or?
I'm in Oakland.
So I feel like when you say Bay Area, that just means like I can't afford to live in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I live
in Oakland.
Okay.
And Oakland's cool, it's whatever, but it's like you can't just go outside. You know what I mean? Like it's not really like one of those places. But we are moving back to LA.
You know, San Francisco has become one of those places too. You also can't just go outside.
You can't. It's kind of scary.
You gotta look both ways.
Yes.
And down. And
yes.
figure out what's going on.
Exactly. So like Yeah, well, I'm moving back to LA, so it's fine. Like in a couple of months, so I think I can get my party life back together again. I've just been like a homebody.
And how did this transition from listener to boyfriend?
Oh, right, that's what we're talking about. So he's been a fan since 2017.
Okay.
So the show was like very fresh.
Ever since the show went on video.
Ever since it went on video.
It must have looked good on tape.
He liked how it looked. Actually, it was right before. He started listening right before I started doing clips. But he like found me on Twitter, all this stuff. And so he showed a lot of love for the show. He has a background in like radio and like broadcast journalism. So he really was looking at like the art of it and just loved the way that I like, you know, ran the show and the stuff that I talked about, my personality. And obviously he wanted to fuck. So he was a fan and just kind of like followed my journey for a while. And so he's like heard all of my shit, all of my shenanigans and relationships and situationships.
Every
and stuff
time
like that.
you pooped on a dick, he knows.
Every time I pooped on a dick, he heard about it for sure. Have I pooped on a dick? No, that was HK Brains. That was my friend. He pooped on a dick.
So did he? I assume he approached you.
Yeah. So so I got into a really toxic relationship right before him.
Okay.
And we broke up, and that guy was like just did not support me in the show. He really had like just thought, you know, he's from the South. Okay. If that gives you any context, sure. You know, kind of a little bit conservative, and nothing wrong with that. But he just obviously, with my conversations, it could get a little tricky.
Do you have to say cock?
Do I have to say right?
Cock?
Do you really got to talk about other people's dicks? You got to talk about stuff like that? Yeah. So anyways, he just wasn't really a fan of the show. And afterwards I was like, I just want someone who supports me, who like and not just supports the show, but just supports me in general. And I don't have to explain myself and all that stuff. And like, you know, Brian, my boyfriend, always was just that person. And I think I was always like attracted to him, but it didn't know how to like go about it, you know? And I also was kind of hoping that he would like make the move, but he's just not that type of guy because he's like didn't want to be creepy, you know? So eventually I DM'd him and I was like, hey, you know, like we should hang out if you're ever in LA.
DM'd him?
Yeah. I mean, I'm the type of chick who will make the first move.
Okay.
Again, I'm confident in the first stages of getting a man.
You preyed upon one of your listeners.
I did. I prayed. We just like started talking a lot. It was in the middle of COVID. We had time, you know? And then we just like fell in love pretty quickly. And just, yeah.
Good for you.
I know.
And do you want marriage? Do you want kids? Like, what are there future things you want?
Yeah, I do want marriage. I do want kids. I'm the type where like I like to take my time. I'm not like I do want to be pregnant. I say that all the time, but I know that like right now it's not the right time to do that. But yeah, I definitely want those whenever it happens. Mm-hmm. Probably soon, but we'll see.
Probably soon.
Maybe like next year.
Yeah, that's pretty soon.
That is soon.
That's next year.
And I never prior to him, I never really cared about marriage. Like I wasn't that type of girl. I just wanted someone to love me. But I was just, you know, marriage and all that stuff was just kind of like, I don't know how that's going to look. But then meeting him, I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Yeah. So
you're like, give me a dress.
Give me a dress. Like not even that. Like I was never the type of girl that like cared about the dress or how my wedding was going to look until I met him. No. But I don't even know what kind of dress I want. I know what kind of wedding I want. I want like fucking food trucks and shit.
Nice.
I have a better idea of what kind of food I want there.
Bay Area Filipina.
Yes, 1000%.
Sick. And do you think he's on the same wavelength?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I hope that possibly problematic parasocial relationship.
It's not
works
very
out in that favor.
It is not, but I mean, it's fine. But I can see how that is like weird though, because it's like the power dynamics. But I
disagree with it being a power dynamic. I don't think it is. I think it's
okay.
That's what some people, like 3 bloggers who are upset that their fans don't want to fuck them, came up with this idea that it was like,
oh no,
it's a power dynamic because like they like your thing, and I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
that's stretching.
I think no. I was thinking because like, do you know the whole like Colleen Ballinger thing? Miranda sings, how she had like a weird.
The what? Yeah, but she was like the.
But they
like,
were she
kids.
was they were like kids. That's what I was saying. I was like, he's
she
not
was
a
having
kid.
poor
He's
boundaries with children fans. And
Yes,
like, that's
that was a
not great.
weird power dynamic, obviously, because
Yeah.
they were underage. But I was like, he's older than me. Like
Yeah.
he's, it's not, it's not weird. So, but that's crazy that people think that.
You don't have to panic.
Sorry.
We're on the same time.
Okay.
I said we're on the same side here. It's
Okay.
like,
Okay. You're like, you don't have to argue with me here.
Oh no. We're agreeing that it's a ridiculous idea. I think it's just sometimes people take like an academic idea and they just take it too far and they go like, where else can we apply this so I can get some views? I'm like, back off.
Nah,
back
fuck
off.
that.
Just
Fuck
go
that
back
shit.
to talking about cum. Plenty of views in cum.
I know. One time, I was really drunk at a wedding, and my friend's now husband, we were like yelling at each other about politics, like screaming and arguing about. This was around like Trump and Hillary, like time, and we were like screaming at each other about politics. But at the end of the day, we realized we were on the same side. And we're like, why were we yelling at each other? Like we were like, I don't know why. I don't know.
And see, again, I would have been the guy at the wedding who just in the background would have just been yell, just talk about cum.
Just talk about cum.
It brings people together. We can all relate to it.
It's like, why are we fighting when we think the same thing?
Where do you want to take Broke Girl Therapy? Are there any other big plans?
Obviously, I want to do more live shows, grow the audience. I would love to like go on a tour. That would be amazing. And one day, like, if I'm thinking even bigger, I think it'd be super fun to like make it into like a show, but not, a talk show, maybe one, but a show where it's scripted, where we get to like kind of relive the 20s stuff of how she got here. And not even just me. It'd be like, so sorry for some context. Broke Girl Therapy, like it's me. I'm the host of the show, but I also have like reoccurring guests that have been
HK looks like it.
HK
girls,
Brains,
I think you have another friend,
the twins, Rose, who you will meet tomorrow. You guys are opening our show together.
Oh, sick!
Yeah,
stand up.
No, but
What
she should be. She's a writer. She's hilarious. You're gonna love her. Okay. We know that you guys are gonna like. Just
Are you trying to set me up right now? What's going on?
She has a boyfriend, but
those are just words to me. What? This is I live in Bushwick. I know people who are like, I have a boyfriend and 3 girlfriends and 2 non-binary partners and several comic.
She's a monogamous person, unfortunately, but I really feel like she should like explore non-monogamy. But anyways, that's another conversation. But her and a few other people.
You want the stories of the 20s of all these like
characters. Yeah, it's kind of like Sex in the City. Where I could be Carrie Bradshaw, whatever, but it's really about all the other characters as well, and you kind of get to see yourself in everyone else's stories. So something like that, like I've always really envisioned, because we got some fucking crazy ass experiences and stories that I think needs to be like shared. But that's like a dream. That's we'll see.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Well, Stefanie, thank you so much for chatting. I'm looking forward to the show tomorrow night.
You're opening for us.
Yeah. Hey. Where can people go to find you, follow you, check out your stuff?
Yes, you guys could follow me at Broke Girl Therapy on TikTok, Instagram, everything really Broke Girl Therapy, or go to brokegirltherapy.com. Literally all that shit is there. The links to the podcast, to the YouTube, to the socials, to the merch. Literally all that shit is there.
Fantastic. And why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody?
Bye, bitches. Love you.
The best place to share your thoughts about this week's show is in the episode discussion channel in our Discord server, The Champagne Room. Shout out to The Champagne Room. Yo, we are now over 700 strong, and it is free to join. So if you want to share your comments about this week's show, or if you want to jump into any of our channels about relationships, sex toys, kink, cannabis, even some arts and crafts, introduce yourself today at manwhorepod.com/Discord, or click that link all up in the schnotes. Love them schnotes. I'm liking the schnotes. I think it was a good call to shorten show notes to schnotes. Just think about all the time I've already been saving you by saying schnotes instead of show notes, which I'm eating into right now by doing this. But I just want to let y'all know I'm very proud of my decision to say a silly word And I would like us all to roll our eyes collectively and take that in. All right. If you want to send me an email with your comments, your questions, your criticisms, your eye rolls, you can send that over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. If you want to know if Y.O. Lee walks around her place naked, mostly. It's mostly toplessness. Very minimal full nudity, but like it's at least as much nudity as you might have suspected. And shout out and thank you to Sex Story Zone Y.O. Lee for giving me a place to stay. I'm really just saying this stuff because she's sitting with her tits out like 3 feet from me. And, and now she's fully naked. Now she's taking them off. Very performative. Proud of you. Do the thing. She measured my inseam this morning, if you know what I mean. And what I mean is she measured my inseam. I had to order a tux for my sister's wedding. I have a note here that I wrote, "Hi last night. What if I retired my dick?" I'm gonna cross that out. Probably a good time to plug the Patreon, right? Shout out to everyone. I know I did the fan appreciation moment earlier, but y'all have really been showing up for me this month. I can't imagine it has to do with a certain bonus episode that features a certain all moaningness. But yeah, much appreciated. Support the pod, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. You'll hear another bonus episode with Stefanie tomorrow about the difference between her 20s and her 30s in this wild, wacky dating world. All right, everybody, I got to go get myself ready for, got to do a little flight to Vegas real quick. See my hot friend Brenna from Front Porch Swingers. I'm just seeing all the hot sex podcasters this weekend, apparently. And then I'm flying back to New York. What up? Stay slutty.
There's a particular partner that I had that really, till this day, is like one of the best partners I've ever had. Again, I was falling in love with him, but he just wanted sex, and he was very honest with that. But like having sex with him, he really taught me how to feel very comfortable in my body, and also like how to orgasm, because that was another thing too. I wasn't like I didn't know how to come. I didn't know how to orgasm, and so like sleeping with him for a while, like he really taught me how to like
in the arms of the angel. Did you enjoy what you heard? For 7 cents a day, you can feed an indie podcast host. Support the show on Patreon for behind-the-scenes content, bonus episodes, Discord benefits, and the ability to brag at parties about donating to the arts. Join now at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. You're in the arms of the angel.